What my Son accomplished on that day, you must understand, or you will weep for all eternity. You will be in anguish forever. I think of this passage in Romans. I hope you notice the very first word in verse 21. But. You see, all the way through the middle of chapter 1, through this 20th verse of Romans 3, you will notice that all I've got to say to you is you are in such dire straits because you have chosen to have it your own way. You've exchanged my glory for the glory of anything else you want to capture, including yourselves. You've exchanged a lot of things that are called sin rather than be with the perfect, holy Creator God. But in spite of all of that, in spite of nobody being righteous, nobody being good, nobody seeking after me, nobody being in fear of me, I have done something on your behalf. This same servant of mine, Robert Murray McShane, said at the end of his life these powerful words. He was pastoring a tough people in Scotland, and he said to them, I do not expect to live long. Changes are coming. Every eye before me shall soon be dim in death. Another pastor shall feed this flock. Another singer shall lead the psalms. Another flock shall fill this fold. There is no believing, no repenting, no conversion in the grave. No minister will speak to you there. This is the time of conversion. Oh, my dear friends, you will have no ordinances in hell. There will be no preaching in hell. Oh, that you would use this time, this little time of yours. Every moment of it is worth a world. So please listen clearly to what Romans 3:21-26 is saying to you. I had Paul write it at the end of a very long passage on your rebellion, on why you are the way you are, good or bad, as you may think. You all are stained with sin. Imagine again this judgment scene before you and me. Your guilt is obvious and plain. You have sinned. This is true. You won't deny it. You can't. And as Romans 3:20 says, no one will be declared righteous in my sight by observing the law. Because the 23rd verse says, all have sinned and fallen short of my glory. You've sinned, haven't you? But I have done something on your behalf for you. I have provided the righteousness you do not have. You struggle to be righteous, this I know. Most of you want to be good and try hard. But you couldn't do it with perfection. But I have provided for you a righteousness that is perfect and pure, yours to receive. Do you remember I told you this good news was previewed in the Old Testament through Adam and Eve, through Noah and Israel, and many other examples? I even had the prophet Isaiah write in his 53rd chapter about my son's crucifixion 700 years before whatever happened. In other words, I have been talking about offering a righteousness that is not your own, that you can have, that I have promised. That is good news. The law and the prophets have been talking about it. And now the talk is over. It's done on the cross. And anyone can have this righteousness, from priest to pirate, from Jew to Gentile, from rich to poor, from man to woman, from criminal to child, from murderer to mother. All have sinned. But anyone who believes in my Son, Jesus Christ, belief means trust in Him. Anyone who believes in Him can get this righteousness and be repaired unto me. You understood what He has done? Have you called out to Him to be rescued? That's faith. That's really believing, putting it into action. Have you done that? I will justify anyone who believes this way. In other words, I will say from my judgment seat, and mine alone, that you are now in the right. That you are no longer guilty. that you now are not condemned. You have righteousness. It is Christ's righteousness, not your own, but you believed and asked and received. How can I do this, you ask? Well, first, I've freely chosen to do this. Notice the words in this passage. All of this is freely done by me. The good news is free. Don't think you can earn it. It's been done on your behalf. Notice also, it's a gift. A gift for you from me. It's offered. Hands extended. Have you received it? It is by grace. You didn't ask for it. You haven't earned it. Let me tell you what grace really is. It is love expressed with no strings attached. Love expressed by me with no strings attached. You haven't seen that kind of love in this world, have you? Earlier I mentioned what my son said through Mark, a ransom for many. He didn't come to be served, he came to serve you. A ransom for many. This word ransom, it's the same word for redemption you see in this passage. He paid a price for your freedom. Picture yourself as a slave chained to sin. Picture yourself not able to get out of the grip of these chains. Picture yourself knowing that if you remain in the grip, your life is not your own. Your life is over. You have no freedom. Now picture somebody coming up and paying the price for your freedom with their own life. A slave can't change his condition. Someone has to help. And Jesus came to help you gain your freedom. And he does it by offering the ultimate price of his body, sinless and perfect. Sometimes when you're in trouble, and you know punishment is coming, and you know your mom or your dad is very angry with you, or maybe your boss, and you just wish someone else could be in your place, that never happens until you meet Jesus Christ. That's what atonement is. That's making amends for a problem, a sin, a mistake. Jesus is in your place. Atonement means he's taking my anger towards sin and having all of it directed toward him. And he's taken the penalty of sin, which is ultimately physical death and eternal death. And he's taken all of that on himself, experiencing all of that in your place, so that anyone who believes that that's the case, that that's true, will not have to undergo this separation, this wrath, this penalty. Do you see now that I will freely justify you, declare you no longer condemned, but free if you trust in Jesus? Recognizing you cannot help yourself, but by faith in someone else. Are you there? Have you been there? The good news is now before you. It is a gift offered to you. Call out to me, all of you who have been burdened with wondering, will I ever get to heaven? Will God ever forgive me for my past? Does God really love me? And the answer is I do, through Christ, who will bring peace between you and me, because he took it all upon himself. But you must call out to him now. Call out to him now while you still have life. Call out to him with the knowledge that you are sinful, that you are guilty, and that you are undeserving, but you love what I have done for you, and you're calling out freely to receive it by a gift of love. Call out now and be saved, because the grave is too late, as you know. Father in heaven, I as a mere man preach as if these were the words you would say in context. Again, a feeble attempt, I'm sure. Father, forgive me